In 1969, a group of astronauts changed the world. They walked on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
In 1972, our journey ended. We've never been back. 2010 begins a year of change. Private companies are working on next-generation spaceships. Governments are looking to go back to the moon and on to Mars. It's time to look up and dream again. It's time to push humans into the cosmos. It's time to educate and engage the planet. It's time for Spacevidcast.
Welcome to Spacevidcast 322 for Friday, July 2nd, 2010. My name is Benjamin Higginbotham. With me, as always, the beautiful, lovely, wonderful, and talented Carrie Higginbotham. And we have got an action-packed episode for you tonight. I was yelling for no good reason. You know what I was doing? I was testing out.
I was going to say, you must have been testing the audio.
I was testing out the new compressors to see if we can actually yell now without blowing stuff up. Thank you very much,
Really?
Pork Chop,
There
for
you
making
go.
that happen. Yeah, I feel like a terrible human being. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. We've got Team Tater Tot in studio. Oh yeah, in the house. They're going to be talking to us after the break about the MoonBots competition. In addition, today alone, we had 1,000 new subscribers to our Roku channel.
Why?
Because I guess they like space. I have no idea. If you don't know what that is, you can go to roku.com, ROKU.com, and you can get a Roku box. It's a little $99 box that you plug into your HD TV. And from there, you can just subscribe to our channel. You plug it in, you get an internet connection, you go to settings, and then just pop on over to channels and download the Spacevidcast channel. It's free. I mean, once you've got the $99 box, it's free. It's really easy to use. And once you're in there, make sure that you rate the channel 5 stars. We definitely.
Whoa, duh.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to do like 3 or 4 stars. So there you go. Just drop into the channel store. We've got an awesome logo. Just click add, and boom, you're done. And yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. Actually, and there is another NASA channel, but ours is way cooler.
Ours is way cooler.
Like, way cooler.
In addition to that,
Yes.
we've got Yuri's Night coming up.
Yes.
So Yuri's Night is
April.
Exactly. Yuri's Night 2011. We're targeting 1,000 independent parties across the planet, and as all the continents and in space. You know, as many different locations as humanly possible. We're going to be doing the global webcast again, and it's pretty awesome. There you can see it at the bottom of your screen. We're only 284 days away.
Yes.
And that's the actual countdown to the launch of Yuri Gagarin, the
Yes.
first human in space.
Right. And this is a really, really big one because he launched in 1961. So this is
2011.
right. So this is huge, and then it's also the anniversary of when Yuri's Night first started. The Yuri's Night parties first started, which was in 2001. If I
And
remember
it's
correctly.
the anniversary of the first STS mission with Space Shuttle.
Wow, we are totally on our
Columbia-
game right now. Yes, Columbia in
Jeez,
1981.
I can't believe I forgot that.
Okay, so we have 1961, 1981.
The chat room's yelling at me. I'm glad it's not on the screen right now because I am in trouble.
2001, so 2011 is huge, and yeah, 1,000 parties. Honestly, as much as I hate myself, and I am kicking myself for saying this, please make us be on for 24 hours straight.
Oh, sure, you're going to regret that.
I know, I very much so
1,000
am.
parties. Here's the deal. You guys reach 1,000 parties, 1,000 registered parties. We will be on the air with a global webcast for a full 24 hours straight. That's the deal. All right.
Lots of coffee.
So that's 284 days away or something like that.
Which means it can be done. No problem.
Much closer in the timeline.
Yes.
Only about, 20 some odd days away. We've got the new space conference coming up at the end of this month.
Yep.
So 21 days away, 22 hours, 38 minutes, and 5 seconds. Yeah.
Wow.
Assuming you're watching this live. If you're watching this on demand, ignore the time.
Don't look at that part, but still hit the QR code.
Absolutely. So the New Space Conference is an awesome conference about next generation space travel.
Yep.
And we'll be attempting to webcast that. At the very least, we'll be recording it, depending upon bandwidth. So
Okay,
you guys know
seriously,
how all this all goes.
Yes, but we are in Silicon Valley at the Domain Hotel. If they don't have enough bandwidth, I just don't even think we should be there.
It could be that bandwidth is freaking expensive also.
Well, whatever.
On that note, I think it's time to start off with a little bit, space news. Space news. You know, the big item that everyone's abuzz with is that the Space Shuttle launch dates have slipped.
Yes.
And the final Space Shuttle mission, the actual final as of right now, has slipped into 2011. And so STS-134 will no longer be this year. It's going to be, February of next year?
Yep.
And then STS-133, which is the final mission for Space Shuttle Discovery, that has slipped to November 1st of this year. And, you know, it is what it is. We kind of all saw that coming, and you know, a lot of people had said this is going to happen, but it is official now. They're no earlier than these dates. That doesn't mean that they're going to launch on these dates.
Right.
It means that they will not launch prior to November 1st for STS-133 and February 26th, 2011 for STS-134 with Space Shuttle Endeavour. There's still possibly an STS-135 with Space Shuttle Atlantis, or even possibly a different space shuttle, although from what I hear, the likely candidate is still Atlantis. For later in the year, that would be in the June-July timeframe of 2011, which could possibly be the final mission of the Space Shuttle program. Exactly.
final
Oh,
mission.
come on! As space geeks know, this stuff slides back and timelines get screwed up. It is what it is. So. That's the big news coming out. Also coming out from NASA is their new Moonbase Alpha app.
I'm really excited about this personally.
All right, tell me about it.
Well, okay, so this has kind of been a long time coming, and there has been the NASA Edge sort of variation of it, but it's a game/educational kind of app.
Geducational?
It's
No.
Gameducational.
Gameducational, all right.
Okay, anyway. No, so it should be very, very cool. We've got the video for it, don't we?
Yeah, here, take a peek.
So that's coming out in the next couple of days.
Hang on, I'm just searching my Android phone for the game. Oh.
Believe July 6th. You just had to get that in there, didn't you?
Yep.
But it should be fun, and you can play it on my phone.
iDevices only.
Anyhow, but no, I mean it's fun and interesting that NASA is kind of reaching out in these different ways.
Oh no, I got to give them kudos for that. I mean, it's you've got this wildly popular app store through Apple, and they're insane, crazy popular iDevices, and this is just another means to kind of get in the hearts and minds of the American population, or even the worldwide population. Although the ones they really care about are American because they want your money.
And the younger ones.
Exactly right. So I mean, they got to keep it going, and have the momentum behind NASA.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
As it were.
Oh, wow, really? And finally, we've got a Google Lunar X PRIZE. I figure since we're going to do the MoonBots update, we might as well do a GLXP update as well. And they've got this nifty little video that kind of shows the hardware updates for the Google Lunar X PRIZE rovers. Now, for a reminder for anyone who doesn't know, the Google Lunar X PRIZE is a prize mission to go to the moon,
Yes.
to send your rovers to the moon,
Yes.
and then there are different tasks you need to accomplish on the moon, such as roving around, sending back high-definition video in real time, stuff like that. And there are extra prizes you can get for finding existing landing sites and sending video of that back. So here's a quick
Staying
update
overnight.
from Google Lunar X PRIZE. I want to thank not just the Google Lunar X Prize for having that video online, but for all the teams for making the progress of their mission available so we could see it, because we're all kind of sitting here with bated breath wanting to see the latest updates and see what's going on inside of their teams, because this is what space geeks love. This is the future of space travel, and we want to see their cool little robots doing robot-y type things.
My favorite is the one with the liquid.
I know, it looks like a canister of something that if you drop, everyone on the planet will die.
Yeah.
Like, right? It opens up and like a pathogen is released, and all of a sudden, right? Isn't that now? That's what it looks like. Yeah, I mean, thank you to GLXP and all the teams for making that happen. I'm excited to see some of those robots actually on our moon and competing to win a very large prize, but it's a $30 million total prize, I believe. So when we come back, speaking of GLXP, Team Tater Tot of the MoonBots competition. Stay with us. Be right back.
Exploration. It's driven us around the world, across vast oceans, and even into space.
We set sail on this new scene because there is new knowledge to be gained.
Explorers like Christopher Columbus, Lewis and Clark, Amelia Earhart, Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin. Space Shuttle astronauts like Sally Ride, working to make the impossible possible. Projects like Apollo, the International Space Station, robotic missions to all the planets in the solar system, and back here on Earth, developing incredible technologies like the internet. When we explore, we find our future. When you explore, you'll find your future too. We've been to the moon. 12 people have walked there, but that's only the beginning. We landed on the moon with primitive technology. A simple cell phone today has more power. How will you use that power? One day, it will be easy for you to go into space in a new generation of spaceships. You may even go to Mars to set up a base. Maybe one of you will venture to the red planet and look back at the Earth. Or live and work in a base on the moon. Or go to other places beyond your wildest imagination. You'll use technology that hasn't even been invented yet. Find solutions that we can't comprehend right now. And look at math and science in new ways. The fact is, anything is possible. You decide the future.
I moved the camera at the last minute. I'm back.
Yay! Okay, so as you can see, we obviously have some in-house guests. This is Team Tater Tot from the MoonBots competition, and the reason that we were talking about a connection between the Google Lunar X Prize and MoonBots, there we go, that's much better, is because the MoonBots Challenge, I keep calling it a competition, but the MoonBots Challenge is I like to describe it as the Google Lunar X Prize, but with Legos. Right?
That's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. And then, do people even understand what the Google Lunar X Prize is, or do you have to like then back
I have to
up
explain
and
that too.
Okay,
Yeah.
just checking. I figured, yeah.
They hear Google and they're like, I go to that website.
Okay, so tell me how Team Tater Tot came together in the first place.
Well, many of you might have heard of what's called the First Robotics Competition. It's a high school robotics competition where teams at schools build robots, compete with them on a national and international scale. Well, the season was over, and at the global competition for first, they showed off MoonBots to us. And just a couple of the team members and one extra person decided it'd be fun to get together with one of these teams. Most of us are really interested in space, and we've been playing with Legos. We may still be playing with Legos. And we thought it just sounded something that'd be fun to do.
But what is a MoonBot?
A robot for the moon, I guess you could say simply. We're going to be, the whole idea of the competition was to design and eventually build model robots with the Lego Mindstorm system, much like the robots that are hoped to be sent to the moon through the Google Lunar X Prize.
Nice.
Now, you guys, you're called Team Tater Tot or T Cubed.
I still like Triple T.
Triple
We're
T.
debating.
Triple T. Where did that name come from?
It was kind of an odd story. We actually started out in my basement, and we're all trying to think of a name, and we wanted to do something that was genuinely Minnesotan. Yes.
You know, you betcha there. Sure.
So the only thing we could think of was Tater Tot Casserole.
Right on.
So then we just decided to call ourselves Team Tater Tot.
We used to even call yourself Lutefisk. Now we've got a. It's not your actual logo, but we've got like a picture of an astronaut-y type Lego guy.
It is basically their logo.
It's basically their logo, but
We
not
did a
quite.
little editing, but it's our logo.
Yeah. So check this out. So is there a story behind just throwing the astronaut guy inside of some tater tots, or you're like, you know, here's what we're gonna do for a logo?
Yeah,
I love it. I think that's awesome. And that was the funny thing I was looking at, because the announcement of all the different teams just recently came out, and I was looking through all the different names, and there was one with bacon in it, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And there was like Team Tater Tot. I'm like, that totally sounds Minnesota. Oh, they're from Minnesota.
You know,
okay, that's cool.
We should combine the bacon team and the tater tot team, because that just sounds delicious.
Whoa.
Exactly.
That might be
try
too much.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, whoa.
So what's each of you? I mean, obviously you guys like to tinker and play, and you know, scientists in training. But what got each one of you kind of wanting to do this thing?
You want to start?
Well, we were in class one day, and I think Camp House here and Micah were talking about it, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And they started explaining this competition, and I'm like, wow, that sounds really cool. So I'm like, can I join you guys? Is there a team and stuff? And they're like, sure, let's do this. And then John came on, and yeah.
I think the original thing was we started it on Google Buzz, We all use Google
yeah.
Reader, and so the
You're
press
4 of
release
the
came
5
out.
people that are on Buzz.
Ouch! Ryan's the other one.
Ooh. I'm sorry,
Sorry,
I
Brian.
interrupted. You were on Buzz. Yeah.
But it just spawned from there. We all just started commenting on that one post, and we should do this.
Yeah, it's
Let's do
really
it.
neat.
And we just kind of got together in my basement and got it together.
That's awesome. And how many days? Okay, so there's. Okay.
Well, I want to keep going down the line. What
Oh,
got
sorry,
you
go ahead.
going for the?
Well, something to do, really. It was really something kind of neat, and thought, why not?
Yeah.
We did.
And then, well, we kind of got your answer in the beginning, but
I was gonna say mine's a little more broad. I've always been really interested in space, and it's kind of what I want to do with my life. And I was like, hey, here's an opportunity to mix space and Legos, like my two loves. How could I pass this up?
We need to get these guys internships with Maston Space.
or Lego,
No, I think Maston.
whatever.
I'll take one or the other.
Right. Right.
I'm not picky.
I had a chance to speak with Maston, not to speak about myself, I apologize, but I had a chance to speak with Maston at South by Southwest, and we passed by this just pile of Legos in the hallway, and he was like, this is where we're going to sit for a while. And he just like dove in, and he was like, you guys are totally reminding me of that, just
I would have
Legos.
done the same thing.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm so sure. That's awesome.
So do you all want? What do you want to do after this? Are you all kind of like scientists in training, rocket scientists in training? Do you look up to organizations like NASA, or do you go, those guys are old school, I want to go to a mast in space, I want to go to a Virgin Galactic? What do you guys want to do? I realize you're all you're high schoolers, right?
We all
just graduated.
All right, so you're not exactly sitting here going, I'm going to do this when I'm 50, but kind of, what are you thinking you're going to do with your life?
We can all start with where we're going to college and what we're going to
Sure.
major in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Berkeley in California, UC Berkeley, and I'm going to major in electrical engineering and computer science.
Nice.
I'm going to Marquette in Milwaukee, and I'm majoring in civil engineering, but I might transfer to physics.
They're so related.
I know, right?
I'm headed to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and I'm going to be majoring in mechanical engineering.
Go Gophers.
I'm going to be going to the Illinois Institute of Technology.
I'm so sorry.
I think I'm just going to walk out now. Sorry, guys.
Sad.
And I'm going to be majoring in aerospace engineering.
Oh, well, see, there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So where are you guys at right now? I think we've got some drawings of the basic bot. Would we call this a MoonBot still? I suppose we would, because
Yeah.
so I think we've got some basic drawings. Why don't we take a peek at what you've got? Because you don't have anything built just yet, right?
Not
No,
quite
No,
yet.
they have
So,
not sent us.
What are we
pieces.
looking at here?
Well, this is the bottom of our MoonBot, and it's mainly highlighting our drivetrain system. We thought it was really important that when you're maneuvering on the moon, there's a lot of different terrain. There's going to be a lot of dusty areas. There's going to be rocky areas. It's important we have something that'll give us a lot of traction and a lot of suspension systems, so we can handle with all of that.
That's our camera and, I don't know if you call it a crane
A
or
lifter.
hook assembly. Lifter, all right. And we just wanted the camera at an angle so you could see where we're going, and then the lifter we wanted hooked so we could actually loop it around, get something in a loop to hold on it and not have it slide all the way back off when we have to pick something else up.
You can also see the mount for the camera we're going to use, because we're supposed to live stream the competition that we do. We're actually going to put a droid on there and do Ustream.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Android. Woo. Gotta get that in there.
So this is just another view of our undercarriage and our lifter motor. We have one motor for the lifter, and then one motor for the 4 outer wheels, and then the 2 inner wheels don't have any motors. We thought that it was important to have those for stability, because there's humps that you go over, like a hummock, and that would help with stability there. And then the 4 motors to give it a lot of traction and speed, because this is a timed event. You can also see in this view there's a suspension system to help with obstacles.
Those are the yellow and black pieces. They have those spring-loaded inside, so if we ever come down hard, we'll be okay.
Nice.
And is it enclosed? Because you guys had mentioned dust. What happens if a bunch of dust, or let's say we were on the moon, if there was simulated regolith or something like that, would it get in there and jam up the gears? Or what would happen if you lost one of the motors?
there actually is simulated regolith in
Oh, well,
this
there you go.
competition. But
They're small Lego pieces, and I don't think they're going to get stuck.
If they do,
And you're
that's
really
other
screwed.
yeah.
That was part of the design challenge. We actually decided to do 4 motors. One of the limitations is we can only have 3 signals sent to motors, so we actually have to split 2 of the signals to the drive motor. So if we ever actually lose one, we intend to program it in to just go into neutral, and then we'll have the secondary motor.
So you could lose a motor and continue to operate without
Right.
losing the competition, essentially.
Right.
Nice.
Now, have you guys thought about?
DJ Dr. P likes it.
Have you guys thought about joining one of the official Google Lunar X Prize teams when you're done with your MoonBots challenge? Because this, if I may be frank, this looks just about as complex as some of the rovers that they're designing. I mean, except almost more complex because you're working with Legos, right? I mean, so they can
Different
bend the
design
metal
challenges.
and whatever they
Right.
need to their whim. You've got little square blocks you're working with.
I've never thought of something like that.
Yeah,
But that'd be really cool.
It would be.
So GLXP teams, because I know you're watching right now. Here
Send
you
us
go.
emails.
Exactly.
There we go. I'd love to join.
yeah.
That's awesome. I can just see Team Frednet right now. Be like, we're scratching everything. We're just going to Legos. Okay, so talk about the competition itself just a little bit, because I know it is essentially Google Lunar X Prize, but in Legos. But you know, yours is a timed event. Obviously, GLXP is timed up until like 2014, that kind of thing. So tell me a little bit about, like, I think we've got some pictures of the course and whatnot. Did you put those in there?
Nope.
Awesome.
We have pictures of the course?
Yes, I put them in the Dropbox, but I guess it doesn't matter now. So, go ahead and go through the course itself, kind of.
Well, the course is a 7.5 by 7.5 square Lego
Feet.
field. Yeah, feet. And there are a couple of little, like, simulated craters that have helium and H2O.
Yes.
Basically just
In there.
these little loops with like a stick on the bottom. And so that's why we have like the 2 hooks, so we can spear them.
But the competition is we have 3 minutes to do a variety of challenges. The main thing is collect the water and the helium-3. And then we also have to sit on the, what's it called again?
It's like a
Peak of
charging
eternal
station.
light.
Yeah.
or-
Peak of Eternal Right.
Yes.
We
It's
also have to
basically
take a
just
picture
this, like,
of a
hill.
historic landmark. So it's just a picture, and we have to go find a way to take a picture of it.
Nice.
And then we have to return to our base.
We want to see
All
my
in 3 minutes.
We want to see my superpowers? Here you go. Boom.
There we go.
So as you can see in here, the blue ones are the water, and the yellow ones that are kind of harder to see are the helium-3. The peak of eternal light is in the upper right-hand corner. And then the historic
That just
landmark
sounds
is
epic,
on the
doesn't
side.
it?
It does sound epic.
And then down in the lower left-hand corner, you can kind of see this little gray thing. It's a little blocked by the chat, but that's kind of like our landing point. This is where the robot starts. You got to drive down from our landing mechanism
And
before
we get bonus points.
move
if
her
we
out
go
on the
back there
moon.
at the end.
So you're going to end on our chat. Really, what it all
Yep.
circles around this
There you
Spacevidcast
go.
chat room.
Your chat is
That's-
the most important
there you
thing
go.
here.
Exactly.
There
All right.
you
Okay.
go.
The little left guy in the lower, like the platform type thing in the
Yep.
lower
Yep.
left.
That's
Is that
right.
what we're
Yep.
talking
Yep.
about? Cool.
And then there's the ridge in the middle, and I talked about the design.
Use the suspension to get
Yeah,
over there.
right.
Floating wheel.
Right.
Awesome.
Now, do you need any help from anyone to make any of this stuff go? I mean, are you looking for design? I mean, it looks like your design is already set. Do you need any outside assistance from anyone? Or are you guys pretty much like ready to get your Legos and build this thing?
Pretty much ready to build.
Yeah.
We're going to go and see what happens.
That's
So to
basically
say, at this point, even if we fail, I just got an excuse to play with Legos.
Right.
So
The hardest part for us will be learning how to code the robot. We only have one guy that actually has even a little bit of experience in LabVIEW, which is what the coding is in. And so that will be the challenge, creating an AI that will be able to go around and pick up these blocks.
And how confident are you guys that you'll be able to do it, in enough time to make all this stuff go?
We'll make it happen.
it'll take some
do.
work. There'll be a few late nights, but
yeah.
It might go down the ramp and off the table, but
It will
it will
still
have
work.
gone. And that's all that counts.
So what did you guys do in high school? What led you into? I mean, obviously Legos are cool, space is cool. Let's go play with some Legos in space. But what led you into this? I mean,
first robotics
First robotics.
competition.
First, yeah.
okay.
I mean, Drew wasn't a part, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry. I don't know what
wasn't
his
able
was,
to join it.
but
And Outcast.
But we were all part of our school's first robotics competition team, and that's really what led us into that. It's a very cool competition. If you ever have a chance to take part in it, you get build full-size robots using industry techniques. It's supported by like all these great groups, NASA, Boston Scientific, and really that interest just carried on with us, and that's how we decided to do this.
So then when you guys get into college, you're all going to join SEDS.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is?
Oh, sorry. It's Students for the Exploration and Development of Space, right?
There you go.
Woo! I got Hantner in the corner there, who is a avid SEDS member, and we have quite a few SEDS members in the chat room, and so we're big SEDS fans, even though we weren't in SEDS.
All right. Any words to your competitors, like you're going down or good luck?
I don't know. Can I be that mean on the air? No.
Yeah, you should have heard some of the crap that was coming out of their mouth. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. No, these guys are awesome for sure.
Ultimately, it's like we're really excited. Like looking at all these other teams and what they're doing. Like I'm really excited to see how everybody does.
Now, how many teams are there that have advanced to this?
20.
So, and I mean, you're kind of a small elite group at this point, right?
I mean, and there are teams from all over the world. When I was looking, there's a team from South Africa. There are teams from all across the states. There was a team that was in one other country, but I can't remember it. I apologize to them so badly, but I can't quite remember what it was. But it's an international competition, and it's very cool to see this.
Much like the real Google, not this is fake, but much like the full-on Google Lunar X PRIZE, that's a worldwide competition to send rovers to the moon. It's just you're doing the same thing with Legos.
Exactly.
And one of the great things about science is like the sharing of ideas and stuff. And we do that. I mean, we look at their blogs and like, hey, that's a really good point, or look at their designs and some of the things they're saying, and it's like, oh, we want to program ours this way, and we look at them like, hey, that's a good idea. Maybe we should integrate that into our design. And just
there's a really strong community, and that's a really cool aspect of this, much like the real.
Let me flip that around on you a little bit. You know, before we went into break, we talked. We showed the GLXP update because I thought it was appropriate. And I thank them for giving the video, and the reason I thank them is because they really are giving the world their video. Everyone can see what they're doing now. Are you afraid that people can see? I mean, you just showed us your designs on the air. We just bared it for everyone to see. Are you afraid that other people are going to take that and possibly
right
win?
Now, you could almost see in their faces like, oh, wait,
what have we done? But no, are you afraid of sharing this information, or do you look at it like, you know, this is the betterment for everyone, it's the right thing to do?
We're in the wrong thing if...
And also, we're obligated by the competition.
Part of the competition is we need to share everything, and it's actually all posted on our website, and we have a link to that on the MoonBots website, so anybody can go find it.
But let's say you weren't obligated, would you still do it? Or would you hold it closer to your chest and say, you know what, no, this is not information I want to give out?
I think we would still give it out.
I don't know. That's part of the fun part. Yeah, like what everybody thinks of everything.
I mean, most of us are like in a common mind where it's like, you know, we're at such an amazing time with space exploration where it's all starting to become privatized, and you know, I want to be able to buy a rocket to the moon before I die, and unless we start working together, we're not really going to be able to do that. And it's just such a
$2,700.
2007. Oh, you can buy an old Space Shuttle engine for $2,700.
I think you have to be a museum for that, though.
We were meeting up before this to get together and figure out what we were going to say on here a little bit. And one of the things that came up was about a year ago, NASA gave away their...
I think it was less than a year.
What, was it less than a year?
I think so.
They decided to give away one of the old retired space shuttles and the engines from it. And they said, hey, if you can pay the shipping, you can have it. And so we went and calculated it, and the shipping was like $2,700.
Yep. Although you have to be a museum.
Yeah.
That's one of the
requirements. Kind of an icebreaker. Like,
it's not like you can go buy an SSME from NASA, guys.
I wish I could. It'd be kind of an icebreaker. Put it out in the front lawn. It'd be nice.
Just call it the Team Tater Tot Museum and just have it a roving museum that just happens to stop in the houses.
Here's a giant SSME. You know, and you guys, you touched a little bit on the future of space exploration. You know, we've talked a lot with a lot of old gray hairs and just people who've been in the industry for 30 plus years about what they think, and they're split down the middle, right? A lot of people are sad to see the space shuttle go, and they don't like the idea of privatized space because it's not proved themselves. Other people are all pro-privatized space and don't really care for the existing government stuff. What do you guys think? I mean, this is essentially, we're handing the keys to you. I mean, this is going to become your space program here shortly. What do you want it to do? Where would you like to see it go?
Mars.
Yeah, I want to go to Mars.
I want to go to Venus.
Why Venus?
It just seems like more of a challenge to me. There's
we can't even go to Mars.
No, I mean, not nearly in the distance, but the whole atmosphere in Venus is really corrosive, and it has a lot of pressure. It just seems like a more active and interesting planet. Mars is just sort of dead.
Mars, you could colonize.
Well, yeah.
I don't like the
Terraforming.
whole burning out my skin and lungs on Venus thing.
That is
Well,
a
I don't.
boundary.
I think you would have to be in a spacesuit in either planet, just for the. Yeah, I don't think you could. You know.
Terraform Mars, right?
Oh,
Well, I believe it is.
Was
I
it
mean,
Project Genesis?
Did you go
We
Star
don't-
Trek on me? I'm all proud of you here.
Not break up proto-matter.
can I please yell Khan just once?
You go for it.
Khan!
There you go. We did not owe Roddenberry 25 cents. But do you prefer private space over government space, or do you really not care so long as we go to Mars?
Me personally, I'm kind of a split personality. I like the idea of privatized space because then a lot more will happen more quickly. As history has shown us, competition always breeds a better product.
Ooh,
But on
said
the-
like a true GLX peer right there.
On the other
Like the
hand,
long lost son of Palm.
Pomerantz now owes us 25 cents.
on the other hand, I think the barriers for entry for a private company to get into the space industry is just too high at this point. The only real competitor that I've seen is SpaceX that's actually doing something, going out there and shooting off rockets.
But I mean, let's be frank. I mean, Elon Musk kind of came in and said, "I'm okay, clearly multi-millionaire, right?
Right,
So
right.
not you, not me. He didn't just go, all right, $3.50. Let's make a Merlin engine. I mean, he had some money to put behind that
That's
thing,
right.
and he had the contacts to do it. But what's preventing another multi-millionaire from doing the exact same thing?
I think
Other than willpower.
well, I think ultimately the thing that holds it up is I think a lot of investors and businessmen don't quite see that there's profit there yet. They look at it and they see, oh, NASA is losing money. How could I change this? And I think that's false, and I think that's something that they're kind of blind to see, that there is a lot of ways to improve the space industry and make it that we can launch things for a lot cheaper. You just need the people to get behind that, which is why I think the best way to do this would be to have a partnership between private industry and NASA. Because with a group like NASA, you can get the large government funding that could do this research and give this research to the private industry who could implement this. I'm actually reading a book about this right now about during the 70s and 80s, NASA did a huge project about saving fuel in aircraft. And a lot of people weren't that big a fan of that. They're like, oh, this is a waste of government money. The private industry isn't going to be in tune with this. But when you look at, aircraft right now, pretty much all the research that NASA did in this is being implemented now. Carbon fiber, supercritical wings, things like that. And I think if you could do that now with space technology, I think it'd be really, oh my God, I'm so, really, good things could happen.
Innovation comes out of it, but like 20 years down the road instead of like 2 years down the road, like what we're used to with technology.
Right.
You look at the tech sector and you see immediate results. You look at the space sector and you don't see it right away, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's it's brand new territory with tech. We've had time, and with the space, space is the new frontier.
The old analogy of like Christopher Columbus and all that is rather cliched, but it works. I mean, when we were Europeans were first exploring the world with their ships and whatnot, circling the world, et cetera, it took a long time for profit to get back, and just to get there, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of the same thing. Now it's taking a long time to get there and to do all these things, but I think there will be a lot of profit there in the future. And one of the things NASA can do is show that there's profit there, and just give examples of ways of how you can make profit, and the private industry will say, hey, look, NASA did that and made some profit. We can do that too, and we can do it better, because we're going to hire all of these best people and pay more, cut costs, and all of that.
it's all about finding the opportunities that we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. If you had a choice to help put humans on Mars right away, but you know that by doing this, you're going to limit Mars travel, much like has been limited to low Earth orbit, to say 500 people over the next 20 to 30 years. Or you had the option to wait 20 years and go to Mars yourself. Which would you do?
Quick question about that first scenario. Are you assuming that becomes more accessible after that 20, 30 years?
You have no idea.
That is a
Whoa,
tough one.
This is
Is it just you?
You have
that-
30 seconds to answer. Talk amongst you know.
I didn't think these questions through. I just wrote them down.
Just the general gist of it is: would you help put humans on Mars faster, but with far fewer of them, or would you prefer colonize Mars but have it take much longer?
Oh, colonize, that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colonize.
I think I would, actually personally, I think I would go for put them on the Mars faster. Because I think once we actually get there and we start seeing footage from Mars, I think people will really be inspired by that. And I think it will accelerate
But look,
development.
look at
really
the
move
historical
for the
aspect.
move.
We
Yeah,
went to the
history's
moon,
shown it
the
doesn't happen
same
that way.
thing, and it's been 50 years.
You single-handedly tore Team Tater Tot apart.
The other teams now owe me money. I'm taking bids.
The blog post tomorrow will be our team is dissolved.
We've gone separate ways.
We're split on Mars. Well, no, you were all unanimous in the decision of where should the space program go, and it was Mars, Mars, Mars. I mean, Zubin would be proud, but you know, then it comes down to Mars is not easy. Well, Venus. I'm sorry. I changed your answer to Mars for you.
Read your mind.
All right, so Mars, Venus. Oh, but basically, the answer was off-world, right? Not just an asteroid. None of you said an asteroid, which is NASA's current proposed plan, and none of you said the moon, which was NASA's previous proposed plan. You all went to a planet. I just found that interesting.
I think Mars is the next step, and I think, you know, you could learn a lot more by trying to go to the moon, trying to go to an asteroid. But I think ultimately, whoever takes the lead in our next space program, whether it be NASA or whether it be a group like SpaceX or one of these other various startups,
Or another country too.
or you never know, Japan has done some big things recently.
Hayabusa.
I think that they can be used as stepping stones, but the goal needs to be Mars. The goal needs to be another planet in our solar system. And everything could just be seen as a stepping stone to get there.
All right, now my last. Oh, go ahead.
Never mind.
No.
All right. All right. Well, Mars, like he said, it really assumes that you're doing the moon, asteroids for better navigation, material, whatnot. But I mean, it's just an end goal. It's not saying Mars at the exclusion of all else. It's doing everything to get to Mars, Venus, wherever.
I mean, the moon would make a very good a test case, you know?
Yeah.
Does this technology work on the moon? Because if it doesn't work on the moon, it probably won't work on Mars.
It's a very convenient place too. I mean, it's a lot closer.
It's right in our backyard. I mean,
Yeah.
3 days.
And you won't melt.
Yeah.
But not as easy, or not as hard as Venus. If we can do Venus, we can do Mars. One would assume.
To be fair,
Right? Yeah.
we don't do these things because they are easy, but we do them because they are hard.
All right, final
Oh
question.
boy.
If you could take a one-way ticket to Mars, that doesn't mean that you're going to perish on Mars. It just means you can never return to Earth. Would you take it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. Or Venus. Or Venus.
Well, technically, son, we would perish because, like, you know, none of us are invincible as far as I know.
But it wouldn't be the trip that
It
would.
would
Yeah,
be a
I
crash
understand.
landing.
You'd be able to go there. You'd be able to live the rest of your life naturally on whatever planet you wanted to go to. Would you take the trip?
Yeah,
One
for
way.
sure. Opportunity.
Yep.
One way.
Definitely.
I was going to say, like, I don't know about these guys, but at least for me, I have been dreaming of going into space and being an astronaut since I was 2. Like, I never believed my parents
I
when they told
was
me
the
that, but then
same
they
way.
showed me video. Like, some of my first words were Space Shuttle. Because my parents
I don't know that I can
gave
say
me all the
that.
toys and all that. So, if I had the chance, I would take it.
Those are very advanced first words.
I know. I mean, some people are, Mom, they may exaggerate, but it's early, I guess. Thanks,
For
Mom.
me,
and
it's
Dad.
like Star Wars. I want to go space. I mean,
That's true.
Even after episode 1?
well, I had already decided
I think
before then, so.
the more appropriate question is even after episode 3.
Thank you.
I'll be honest, I was pretty fond of episode 1 because of the pod racing.
Oh, yeah. Pod Racing made that movie worth it.
Well, and Jar Jar?
You just ignore Jar.
Yeah, exactly.
Ignore.
Between Jar Jar and whiny Anakin Skywalker.
Oh,
it was,
yes.
it was a
Rewrite
bad
the
day.
movie, get rid of Anakin. Better story.
On that note, we're going to call it a night. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Now, you said that you weren't going to hang around for post-show, so I'm going to make you stay for post-show.
Okay.
Just for a few more minutes.
We can do that.
Yeah, get a few questions from the chat room. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us live. I had some things that I wanted to announce, and I've completely forgotten. Oh, I remember what it was. If you haven't already, I already talked. Wow, this is a really nasty camera angle for closing out the show,
It
isn't
is
it?
kind of. Oh well. You can go fix
I
it
could,
right now
I
if you
could go
want.
fix it. Oh, he's going to do
We're
it
gonna
live.
live fix it?
Yeah, watch this. Watch
Oh,
this. Here
this
we
could
go.
be very
He's
painful.
ready to go. All right.
Ready?
I'll keep talking while he does it.
You will.
I mentioned the Roku channel. We have 1,000 subscriptions today alone. Keep that up, guys. That's awesome. It makes us feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. But even outside of that, on iTunes, we have an iTunes channel. Make sure to subscribe to our iTunes channel as well as rate it there. We'll take 5 stars on both Roku and iTunes.
We will.
And we love your positive comments. If you've got constructive criticism, that's not a problem at all. Leave it off the public boards. I'm just kidding.
Sad.
I don't know what's in me today. It's whatever it is. Now that he's done that, I have to do this. Oh, I can't.
Team Tater Tot is on my side. They're plotting against us.
Uh-oh.
You were just like, keep it off the public, and they're like, spam.
I see how they are. All right, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
It's time to look up. It's time to look up. In 1969, the astronauts changed. On the moon. In 1970, our journey. We've never.
For Spacevidcast.
Welcome to Spacevidcast 322 for Friday, July 2nd, 2010. My name is Benjamin Higginbotham. With me, as always, the beautiful, lovely, wonderful, and talented Karen Higginbotham. And we have got an action-packed episode for you tonight. I was yelling for no good reason. You know what I was doing? I was testing out.
I was going to say, you must have been testing the
I was
audio.
testing out the new compressors to see if we can actually yell now without blowing stuff up. Thank you very much,
Really?
Pork Chop,
There
for
you
making
go.
that happen. Yeah, I feel like a terrible human being. We've got a lot of stuff going on.
When Yuri's Night first started, the Yuri's Night parties first started, which was in 2001, if I
And
remember
it's
correctly.
the anniversary of the first STS mission with Space Shuttle.
Wow, we are totally on our game
Columbia.
right now. Yes, Columbia in
Jeez,
1981.
I can't believe I forgot that.
Okay, so we have 1961, 1981.
The chat room's yelling at me. I'm glad it's not on the screen right now because I am in trouble.
2001, so 2011 is huge, and yeah, 1,000 parties. Honestly, as much as I hate myself, and I am kicking myself for saying this, please make us be on for 24 hours straight.
Oh, sure, you're going to regret that.
I know, I very much so
1,000
am.
parties. Here's the deal. You guys reach 1,000 parties, 1,000 registered parties. We will be on the air with a global webcast for a full 24 hours straight. That's the deal. All right.
Lots of coffee.
So that's 284 days. Just click add and boom, you're done. And yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. Actually, and there is another NASA channel, but ours is way cooler.
Ours is way cooler.
Like, way cooler.
In addition to that,
yes.
we've got Yuri's Night coming up.
Yes.
So Yuri's Night is
April.
Exactly. Yuri's Night 2011. We're targeting 1,000 independent parties across the planet, and as all the continents and in space. You know, as many different locations as humanly possible. We're going to be doing the global webcast again, and it's pretty awesome. There you can see it at the bottom of your screen. We're only 284 days away.
Yes.
And that's the actual countdown to the launch of Yuri Gagarin, the
Yes.
first human in space.
Right, and this is a really, really big one because he launched in 1961. So this is
2011.
right. So this is huge, and then it's also the anniversary of.
On here, we've got Team Tater Tot in studio. Oh yeah, in the house. They're going to be talking to us after the break about the MoonBots competition. In addition, today alone, we had 1,000 new subscribers to our Roku channel.
Why?
Because I guess they like space. I have no idea. If you don't know what that is, you can go to Roku.com, ROKU.com, and you can get a Roku box. It's a little $99 box that you plug into your HD TV. And from there, you can just subscribe to our channel. You plug it in, you get an internet connection, you go to settings, and then just pop on over to channels and download the Spacevidcast channel. It's free. I mean, once you've got the $99 box, it's free. It's really easy to use. And once you're in there, make sure that you rate the channel 5 stars. We definitely.
Whoa, duh.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to do like 3 or 4 stars. So there you go. Just drop into the channel store. We've got our awesome logo.
In 1969, a group of astronauts changed the world. They walked on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
In 1972, our journey ended. We've never been back. 2010 begins a year of change. Private companies are working on next-generation spaceships. Governments are looking to go back to the moon and on to Mars. It's time to look up and dream again. It's time to push humans into the cosmos. It's time to educate and engage the planet. It's time